What's up, guys? My name is Jack. I'm a slightly successful real estate investor, full-time investor wannabe. I just closed my first wholesale deal. I made $15,000 and I wanted to tell you guys how I did it. So took a quick vacation to Florida and I'm just here figuring out how I'm going to do a bunch of these because I'm very excited about making this money. So what I did was, this was a property that it was a distressed single-family home in Massachusetts that I drove by every day on my way to work. So I wrote down the address, I wrote them a letter. It was real simple, short, just said, my name is Jack. I drive by your house all the time. I was wondering if you would like to sell it. If so, I would love to buy it. So sent the letter, and then a couple days later I went out to knock on the door and just kind of put a face to the name, give them my business card. So I did that, and they were very excited to meet me. The seller told me that they did want to sell for sure. They needed a little bit of time, and then they were good to go. And I'd set another appointment for a couple days later. I told them I could come out and just take a quick look at the inside, and then I'll make them an offer, which I did. I came out, estimated the repair costs for the next buyer, figured out what it would be worth when it was all fixed up, and then I just subtracted the fee that I was hoping to make from that, and that number that I was left with was the offer that I could give to the seller. So that number was around 180, and then she signed the contract that night. She was good to go at that price. The next day I started looking for an end buyer for the property. I also had my attorney draft up an assignment contract. I needed to have that on hand, so when I found that buyer, I could have him sign something, give me a deposit right away. So got the assignment contract handled, and then I called up a real estate investor who bought property from me in the past when I was an agent, and I told him I had this property under contract, and I'd like to offer it to him, as an assignment, and he was interested. So he came out, he liked the property, and he gave me a deposit for $1,000, signed the contract, and then about a week later, his wife actually talked him out of buying it. So he wound up forfeiting that deposit, and then I had to go back on the street to find another end buyer. So this was a little bit interesting because I've never done this before, so I didn't know anybody. So what I did was I went downtown to, I actually drove down Main Street, and I found like the most, what seemed like the busiest real estate brokerage in the area. It was just a small office, but you could tell that this is whoever's a heavy hitter in this area. And I offered the property to the broker owner, and she told me that her husband was a developer and that they would definitely be interested. I think the next day they emailed me back the contract signed. We agreed at a price of $195, so that's $180 to the seller, and then $15 to me. Signed the contract, and then they never even saw the house. It was almost like buying a house at auction. This person was so familiar with the area and what she was looking at that she knew exactly what she was buying. So there was no issue there, and then it closed a couple of weeks later. No problem. The end buyer's attorney closed the transaction, so I didn't have to be there at the closing. And then I got my fee the next day. I got a wire transfer for $15,000. So don't let anybody tell you that this doesn't work, because it does, and I've been told 100 times that it doesn't. And believe me, if I can do this, anybody can do it. That's the truth, because I am not the most put together person. I'm running on straight passion, man. I just love doing this, and I've made so many mistakes and spent so many years chasing my tail that it feels really good to actually get one in the bank and to tell people, like, hey, remember that thing you said would never work? It worked. Don't let anybody tell you, man. You can change your life. If you want, you can change your life. Just stick to your guns and do what you said you were going to do. If you guys have questions, I hope you have questions on this deal, leave them in the comments, and I promise I'll answer them. And anything else, any other questions, just let me know. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys soon.